Isolation and lockout. Isolation and lockout procedures are designed to protect you from contact with energy sources, such as electricity, or moving parts that can cause injury, harm, or even death. Contact with electricity can cause burns, shocks, disruption to your heartbeat, and can kill you. Death by electric shock is known as electrocution. Electrical or energy sources are common on mine sites. Common sources of electricity include overhead power lines, switchboards, circuits, and generators. Danger and lockout tags. Whenever a person is working on installation or equipment, a safe system of work is required to minimise the risk of contact with electricity or other energy sources. When the work on equipment involves fault finding, maintenance or repairs, there is an increased risk of injury from electrical shock or electrocution. A danger and lockout tag system will be in place at all mine sites to reduce the risk of such injury or death. Prior to starting work on equipment, it is important that you work with your supervisor to identify and isolate all energy sources. Energy sources can include electricity, hydraulics, gravity, radiation, biological and chemical. Each person involved in the job must be made aware of the isolation points. These points must be locked out and marked with a danger or lockout tag to prevent them from being switched on while the job is still in progress. Removal of danger and lockout tags. Danger tags and locks are only to be removed by the person who placed them. Each person who is likely to be in a position to lock out a piece of equipment for work must be issued with at least one individually keyed lock. Where there are multiple points of isolation required for a job, a group lockout procedure will be enforced to enhance the control of the isolation points. At all times, you should be able to enforce control over the source of energy likely to affect you, usually via your personally issued keyed lock and tag. Stored mechanical energy. Although an energy source has been isolated, locked and tagged, there may still be residual or stored mechanical energy that could cause injury or harm. Stored mechanical energy will need to be safely controlled prior to the commencement of work. Some common examples where an additional JSA may be required can include the following. Before commencing work on equipment or entering equipment that is under pressure or vacuum, the pressure must be returned to atmospheric level. In pneumatic and hydraulic drives, the power supply shall be isolated, pressure vented, vent lines and drain valves isolated. Exhaust, letdown or drain valves shall be locked and tagged in the open position. Any moving parts which could cause injury through free movement or could fall, even though disconnected from sources of motive power, shall be physically restrained and tagged. Hazardous material and chemicals shall be removed from any system prior to commencing any work. Isolation and lockout, your responsibilities. Only attempt to install, fault find, repair or maintain equipment once the proper site authorisations or work permits have been secured. Do not remove a danger or lockout tag that isn't yours. Work with your supervisor to identify all energy isolation points relevant to the job. Safely assess how stored energy can be released prior to the commencement of work.